So meal times can mean the family sitting nicely around the table or getting under my feet in the kitchen. And I love taking a classic takeaway, but giving it a little twist, so it's delicious, but even easier to make at home. This could be a mistake to do this with the kids, but let's go for it. Okay, here we go. So, fish and chips, the nation's favourite dish. Do you like fish and chips?
I do like fish and chips.
Okay, so River didn't quite make the recipe. Buds, do you want to help me?
Yeah.
Good lad. So look, cooking battered fish at home with all that hot oil, kids running around, the smell, it's not that healthy. You know, I just don't really like doing it at home. So I've devised a way of getting that kind of fish and chips fix. But instead of phoning up for a takeaway, this is much healthier, much cheaper, and a lot of fun to make, actually. So we're going to do the most amazing smoky bacon crusted fish with oven roast potatoes, smashed peas and a few sort of seasonal veggies. It's going to be lovely, right? So, Buds, you grab us a tray over there. I'll do the first potato. I've just washed about 800 grams of Maris Piper potatoes. These go nice and crispy. I'm going to half that potato like that, and then put your hands either side, as you know how to, and go through like that. So that's what we want. Nice oven roast.
2 wedges.
Yeah, nice wedges. So you happy to do that?
Yeah.
So I'll do 2, and you do 2. Just put some olive oil into a lovely tray.
What do I do after I've halved
That's all right, yeah, just take it into halves. That's it, lovely. I'll put a little seasoning of salt and pepper. And if you want to, you can kind of give it a little bit of a vibe with a herb. You could even have a little bit of spice. And for an unknown reason, River loves smoked paprika. So I'm going to put some, actually, on these chips. You get a sweetness, you get a very subtle heat. It's not really spicy hot, but there's a smokiness. That's going to go in the oven at 220 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes until golden and crispy. About halfway through, I'll give it a nice little shake. Don't burn yourself. There you go, go and wash your hands. Now, I've got 4 lovely fillets of cod. You could use any white fish, whatever is sustainable, whatever is local, whatever you love. So things like haddock, pollock, really, really good. The question is, how do you get beautiful, crunchy fish that's perfectly cooked and flaky? But we can't batter, we can't deep fry, because we're at home and I don't really want to do that. We're going to take breadcrumbs to the next level. So, Buddy, if you can just crack an egg or 2 in there. There's a fork, my friend. You're right, Bud. Did you get a little bit of shell there?
Yeah.
OK, so have a little whip up.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, of course. Angling it.
Oh, and getting it on the
It wouldn't be
table.
the same if there wasn't a little bit of mess. Now, you can use white bread and it's very good, but if you used a bit of stale, decent bread, right, it's going to be amazing. And then I'm working like, how can I get more? How can I get more? Buds, go to the fridge, mate. Get 1 rasher of bacon. So I'm just going to slice...
Is this 1 rasher?
Perfect, yeah. So that's just a standard rasher of bacon. Just put that in a food processor. If you didn't want to use bacon, you could have sun-dried tomatoes. You could maybe have herbs. Rosemary particularly is good. You could use anchovies, stuff like that, just to give it some funk, a bit of like attitude and seasoning. But also, by drizzling in a little olive oil, this will put enough... Did I just whack you? Go on.
Yeah.
That is enough oil to get into that bread so that it protects the fish and gives you that crunch, and you don't have to shallow fry, deep fry, or any of that business. So it's a really brilliant little method.
Is that
so,
enough?
yeah, it's perfect. We don't need any salt because bread's pretty seasoned always. Have a look at this. So, like, smoky bacon, oil, bread, crust, all getting mixed up. Right, turn it off. Other way. Good lad.
That's so cool.
Just pour that in there.
It smells really nice.
Yeah. Now, we need a little bit of a production line. So it's good that I've got Buddy. So, Buds, here, my friend, if you use the same hand to do the flour, the eggs, and the breadcrumbs, by the time you get to the 3rd one, your hands are kind of breadcrumbed like the fish. So if you do flour with your left hand, all over, just gently move it around. That's it.
Yes.
Pick it up with your left and just shake off the excess.
Okay.
Right, now use right hand to mop it all over. Now, I take a handful here, and you lay it on those breadcrumbs there. Put that on both sides, apply a little bit of weight, and there you have it. a lovely, perfect breadcrumbed fish fillet with smoky bacon. I'll put it on an oiled tray. Now, what's brilliant about this breadcrumbing, other than it being golden, crunchy, and a little bit smoky bacon-like, is it will protect your fish to give you a lovely, succulent, flaky piece of fish. Go on, my son, in you go. And it's at least half the fat of deep frying it, depending on what fish and chip shop you go to. So this is a really nice expression of fish and chips that's like way better for you. If you wanted to freeze this fish, you can if the fish hasn't been frozen already. Plus, at £2.36 a portion, by the way, it's really, really good value. So, when the potatoes have had about 30 minutes, then I'll put the fish in at the same temperature, 220, as the potatoes for 15 minutes. Both of them will come out golden, crunchy, and perfect at the same time.
Can I wash my hands?
So let's have a little clean down. Yeah, off you go, buds. And then, too many cooks. Buddy's gone to rally the troops. So, fish, chips, mushy peas. Ah, yeah. And the old school mushy peas were that fantastic split dried green pea. I love it, but we're not going there. Cooking for the family, I'm always trying to sneak more good stuff in them. So let's have fun with mushy veg. Frozen peas are genius. So about 500 grams goes in. And then really nice for an everyday green, frozen edamame. And they're a fantastic vegetable. Super healthy. You can get them in the supermarkets. So a little handful go in, and then a little handful of broad beans. If it's that time of year and you've got other stuff, like I've got a bit of asparagus here, you know, any other nice kind of spring greens you can get in there as well. So you can kind of have fun with mushy veg and make it as simple or as exciting as you like. Boil those for about 4 or 5 minutes. And then I'm thinking, okay, tartar sauce, mayonnaise. My missus don't like it, so I'm kind of going slightly down a different place. Smashed mint sauce. That with the chips and the greens, amazing. So I've got a nice bunch of mint, a little bit of salt. Bash up the mint until it's like a little mush. Kick it with a tablespoon of lovely vinegar. A little olive oil. And then muddle it. And you'll get the most incredible, vivid green. Hallelujah. Tangy, seasoned, punchy mint flavour. That with a chip, amazing. That with your crunchy cod. And even the peas, really nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait 5 minutes, and then let's feed the gang. So veg is done. Mash it to the consistency that you like. Just season it to taste. And there you go. That amazing mushy veg, sweet and delicious. We've got our mint sauce. And then I've got my chips here. Let's have a look at the fish. Yeah. I'll do a little portion, vivid, smashed peas and other bits. Bosh. Then I'll go for our super tasty oven chips. And then fish. Just a little kiss of that minty, vinegary sauce. That little bit of smoky paprika. Right, let's have a little try. Before I serve it up to the mob, is it crunchy? Can you see how juicy that fish is? And yet on the other side, the breadcrumbs and the bacon has gone so crispy. It's a really nice little technique. Wow. And the mushy veg is just full of life. I love it. Fish and chips is genius, isn't it? But before you phone up for a takeaway, this little take on it, I think is really nice. Healthier, much cheaper, and you did it yourself. Beautiful. Right, let's feed the troops. Oh, yeah, buds.
Thank you.
Right, is the fish crunchy? Yes or no?
Yes, lovely.
It's crunchy.
Is it?
Yeah.
I like the mushy peas.
I love fish and chips.
Dad, this tastes really lovely. I don't know why, because I ate on a carrot the other day and it's just wobbly.
Your teeth wobbly? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi guys, hope you're well. Okay, I'm gonna do a nice little dish. This is a classic Oliver household midweek dinner or lunch. Chicken lollipops with charred asparagus, mint and pea couscous, and a beautiful sun-dried tomato sauce. It's really quick. It's really nutritious. It's from my brand new book, Superfood Family Classics, and it's a really lovely dish. I think you're gonna love it. I'm gonna do it all in one pan, a quality non-stick large pan. Put that on a high heat. With the asparagus, let it naturally snap. There's nothing wrong with this, it's just a bit stringy and chewy, okay? There's no fat, there's no olive oil. With asparagus, if you dry grill it or dry toast it in a non-stick frying pan like this, you get really amazing nutty asparagus flavors that you would never get through steaming or boiling. So, couscous. This is whole wheat couscous. So you're absolutely having loads more fiber. These are fresh peas. You could use frozen as well. A pinch of salt goes in. You can put some pepper in as well. I'm also going to use lemon. Get yourself a nice little fine grater like this, okay? It's just the yellow part of the zest going in, and that's the oily, fragrant, delicious part. So we've got very simple but lovely flavors happening there. I've boiled a kettle, and I'm simply going to cover that. Couscous is already cooked. You just need to rehydrate it, and it takes like 5-6 minutes. I'm gonna put my plates on top. Peas and couscous essentially are done. We're using lovely free-range chicken breast. You'll notice there's a thin side and a thick side. We're just equaling out the thickness as well as tenderizing it, and it means that it's all gonna cook at an even rate. So just 3 or 4 skewers. You want them to be cut down so they fit inside your pan, okay? I wanna create little lollipops. So I'm just gonna wash my hands. These asparagus are pretty much done. They're still they got life in them, but we've sort of made them a little bit softer. I'm going to start to cook the chicken now. I'm going to season that with a little salt and pepper and a drizzle of oil. So the asparagus here goes onto the plate, right? So you can tell they're hot and steamy and gorgeous. The chicken is in the pan. What we get in there is a really nice crisp finish. I'll turn this other chicken over. If you apply something flat like this, and let's say like a little pestle and mortar, it's quite a nice little tip. And I'll tell you why. It really compresses the meat, so you have perfect contact with surface area, and it helps to cook it quicker, and it gives you a crispier crust. I'm going to pick through some mint to chop, right? So this is to chop through my couscous. So the tips I'm putting to one side. I'm just going to sprinkle those on top. Chive flowers, look how beautiful they are. And they have the most beautiful, subtle onion flavors. Whatever herbs you've got available, you can kind of run with it. I'll chop through that. There's our chicken lollipops. Notice that you've got the kind of seared color on the outside. I'm going to put that on top of the asparagus. Why? Because it's going to rest now, right? Chuff up all of this. Look, hot and steamy. We're going to lift all those flavors with these wonderful, wonderful herbs, okay? Mix that up. I want a little bit of tartness happening here. Squeeze the juice in this bad boy. That's about a quarter of the lemon. Put that through the couscous just to give it an edge. I want to show you how to make a quick sauce. A couple of tablespoons. Beautiful organic yogurt. I'm going to use some sun-dried tomato paste. 1 teaspoon, give or take. I'm going to put some lemon juice in here, guys. Let's call it a quarter. And just a little pinch of salt for seasoning. And you've got a really simple, delicious sauce. Let's plate up. So we'll go in with the couscous first. I'm then going to go in with the asparagus here. And then let's go and have a little look at our chicken over here. This is a nice clean board. And what I'm going to do is get my chopper and just put it in between the skewers. The kids just love that. Look, let's have another little look, right? Juiciness, not overcooked, right? Loads of character. And we've got a little wedge of lemon, sun-dried tomato sauce, herbs, and the only thing I forgot was my nuts. I'm always forgetting my nuts. So you have to use your imagination in this one. They are much nicer when they're toasted, but I'm gonna sprinkle these over my lovely dish. Boom! Chicken lollipops. Superfood styling. Check out my new book, Superfood Family Classics. Beautiful. Really, really delicious. I'm gonna batch cook today a beautiful twist on a bolognese. I'm gonna show you a very British bolognese. In this nice big ragu pan, I'll put in some olive oil. I'll start the story with rosemary, 2 or 3 sprigs into that oil, and that will be the beginning of flavour. Another really good trick worth mentioning are these pre-chopped bags of carrots, onions and celery. I think they're really handy. Do not rush this bit. We have to soften this veg and we have to start lightly caramelising this veg. If we don't, if we just boil the veg, it's only ever going to be average. Now, in this recipe, I'm using mushrooms, wonderful chestnut mushrooms. They're going to give you huge flavour and amazing colour. Kind of make them the same size as the carrots and the onions, give or take. So, look, if you look in the pan now, you can see that all these lovely veggies are really soft and they're taking on colour. Now we go in with the mushrooms. The mushrooms are mainly water. So they're now going to start giving water to the pan and then it will go back to frying again. So I've got 1 kilo of beautiful minced beef. Carry on cooking this for another like 10, 15 minutes to get back to frying again. So now is when I love to add the beer. A beautiful pale ale goes in. It's got amazing malty flavours, really deep kind of chocolatey vibe. I'm gonna put a bottle in, about 500 mils. So what I want to do now is bring that to the boil and cook it down. So next up, we've got the tinned tomatoes. So 4 tins of tomatoes will go in our ragu. Oh, hello. You know what we're doing?
Buddy bolognese and tomato
Buddy's food.
So now we go in with the tomatoes and we'll let that simmer for like 1 to 2 hours until really tender and delicious.
To blush that in.
You want to use that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So get your 4 tins of tomatoes in, and then it's nice to fill 2 tins up with water. Bring that to a boil and let that simmer for an hour or 2 until it's succulent, gorgeous and tender. And what I'm going to do then is show you how to make the most amazing pasta. I want to show you what I think is the coolest little hack. I've got 2 packs of fresh lasagna. What we can do is slice down, gap, slice down, gap, slice down, and then kind of put it slightly ajar and do slice down, gap, slice down, gap.
Maybe wobbly.
You can be wobbly. Once this is cooking, it's going to separate like a concertina. This is going to grab hold of the ragu and the sauce in a very different kind of cool way. So I've got a pan of boiling water. If you want, you can put a little oil in the water. This will help these not stick together. And then we'll literally drop this into the water, and it cooks in like 3 minutes. Can you see how all the little cuts are opening up? I'll put in a little bit of the ragu here, just a couple of spoons. Then I'll take that amazing pasta. Look at the shape of it. A little splash of water, by the way, just to make it oozy. And then the last very British ingredient, some cheddar. It really melts beautifully. And then I like to use 2 spoons just to almost dress it like a salad. But just look how gorgeous this serves up. Look at that. And I just find this way, you go from the everyday to something really sublime. A beautiful little take on the great bolognese. Right, let's have a little try. The beer has this big malty flavour, but there is an underlying bitterness, right? But then when it's contrasted with the sweetness of the ragu, the vegetables, the tomatoes, that is so tasty. Okay, you lovely people, we are going to make a beautiful pasta dish. We're going to make veggie bolognese. This is from my new cookbook, Superfood Family Classics. We've taken one of the most classic family recipes, spaghetti bolognese, and we've made it veggie. It's really nutritious, it's perfectly balanced. It's 3 of your 5 fruit and veg a day, which is fantastic, and it's big enough Wonderful ways to get your protein without eating meat, which is always really handy in modern day life. So look, we got 2 sticks of celery, 2 carrots, 2 onions, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm using 20 grams of dried porcini here. That's the only sort of ingredient that you've got to find, really, but they're in the supermarkets, and this gives you the body of flavour, right? It's a really humble, delicious meal. So a couple of tablespoons olive oil into a pan, put that on a medium heat, celery nice and fine. We're going to slice up some garlic here and 2 sprigs of rosemary, finely chopped, 2 carrots, ½ centimetre dice. This is a rustic peasant dish, and it's going to make you really, really happy. I'm using red onions, you can use white if you want. Finely chop it. We've got that on a medium heat, and I'm going to put a lid on. I'll give that a little shake and just sort of slowly sweat that off without colour for about 15-20 minutes. Before I kind of disappear, I'm just going to cover the dry porcini. It's very savoury. It's got a real deep, incredible broth. So this has had about 20 minutes now, and it's just frying away nice and gently. I can just turn the gas up a little bit. 100 mils of Chianti goes in there. Let it cook away. So while that's frying away, add a couple of leaves of bay leaves. They can go in now. Let's just roughly chop these mushrooms. These have rehydrated now. It's only 20 grams, guys, but it's big flavour. We're going to go in with the broth now, guys. We're ending the frying process now. Often there's kind of little bits of grit. Discard that. We're going to go in with the tomatoes, loosely bash those up, and they'll fall apart as they cook. I'm just going to put a swig of boiling water in each tin. Just swill it around. So, tomatoes are in. Now lentils. They're brilliant. They absorb flavour, just like meat would. So we're just going to break up some of those tomatoes, and we're going to turn the heat back down to sort of medium, and I'm going to let that just kind of simmer and blip away for about 30 minutes, and then I'll show you what to do next. So let's have a little taste. This is your opportunity to have a little season, and the heat's off now. I can put a little parsley through this lovely ragu. You could use basil if you wanted to. You can mix it up, or lovely marjoram or something like that. In the pan next to it, I have some pasta, 80 grams per person. I've traded up from white pasta, spaghetti, to whole wheat pasta. 3 times the amount of fibre in whole wheat products. More B vitamins, so really, really good. So what I'm going to do is steal a little bit of water. I'm just adjusting the texture, and I want it to be nice and loose so it just catches the pasta in a beautiful way. That pasta has had its sort of 8 minutes now. It's ready and raring to go. So drain your pasta and just keep a little bit of that cooking water, okay? And I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm just going to do a couple of portions of this. Look at that. Let's mix it up. Parmesan, 15 grams or so. The seasoning of the Parmesan just brings the lovely flavours together. Now it's starting to get thick now, right? And a bit claggy, and that's not cool. So we're going to add some of that cooking water, and that's going to keep it nice and loose and gorgeous. So let's plate this up. And before all the veggies start telling me off, saying that Parmesan is not vegetarian, this is actually a cheese called Bella Lodi, which is using a vegetarian rennet, and it's very similar to Parmesan. So here we go. The lovely veggie bolognese. Get in there. Hello, lovely people. I'm going to show you a brand new recipe from my brand new book, which is Superfood Family Classics. It's all about the food that you love, but made really healthy. We're going to do a gorgeous pasta, my sausage and broccoli pasta. Very simple, straightforward, and this is something my family absolutely love. First up, we've got a pan on, a casserole style pan. We've got a pan of boiling water on. We have got some gorgeous chipolatas. You can use any sausages that you want. A new technique here, boil it for a few minutes, and it's going to set the shape. I'm going to slice it up into little discs. It means I can distribute the sausage more evenly. In the water at the same time, this humble friend here, broccoli. The boring stalk that everyone throws away. Trim the woody end off, And this will go into the pan of boiling water with my 2 chilies. Now you can use 1 or 2 chilies. All chilies have different heat, so you can kind of duck and dive as you see fit. And that's just going to cook away for a couple of minutes. It will just soften up nicely. We're going to have a little bit of olive oil in a pan. About a tablespoon goes in. Fennel seeds, a nice heaped teaspoon goes in. It's going to be delicious. Garlic. So I'm going to finely slice the garlic up, put that to one side. We'll slice 2 onions up. I'm going to take the sausage out now, and you can see it's pale, but it's firmed up nicely. And then I can just slice this up. So in it goes. Slice up the stalks into little chunks. They're absolutely delicious. So in with the stalks. Slice up your chilies. I'm going to add half of them here. You can kind of pimp it up a little bit later. Look at those colours, gorgeous. Fennel seeds. The fat's now coming out of the sausage. And then we're going to go in with the garlic. And after about a minute of the garlic being in, then we'll go in with the onions. So good for you. And they'll sweeten up really, really nicely. It's the kind of dish that loads of people love. My family absolutely love it. And even better, we got 3 of our 5 fruit and veg a day in this one dish. The book is full of things that are really good for you. So, you know, we've got all sorts of things from vitamin K in the broccoli, vitamin C, break off little florets. You know, you've got loads more vitamin C in the chilies. So I'm going to use a herb, guys. Oregano, I've got fresh. Absolutely all of us have got dried. Feel free to use it, but it's always nice to use the fresh stuff. So about half a little bunch is perfect. Keep it on a medium heat, and over 15 minutes, you're going to develop amazing flavour. Everything's softening up. Look at the colours. Put in a nice little splash of vinegar, and then you just want to cook that vinegar away so you're left with the fragrance, a nice little tartness, which is really, really good with the pork and the tomatoes. And then in with the tinned tomatoes. We're going to use plum tomatoes. Put about half a tin of water in as well, just to clean the tin out. I'm going to turn the temperature down a little bit, and I'll break up the tomatoes just to help them along a little bit. Rich tomato, sausage and broccoli sauce. We'll let that simmer for about 15 minutes. I'm going to put the pasta in. I'm going to use whole wheat tagliatelle. Whole wheat is a brilliant trade up from regular pasta. Okay, so it's going to be digested slower, you know, it's more fibre. So I'm going to put 300 grams of pasta into some salted boiling water. And then you got that nice harmony of the pasta cooking as that simmers. It smells incredible. So let's check the pasta. Pasta's nearly there. So I'm going to go in with the broccoli just for 2 minutes, right? We want to keep it full of colour, retain as much of the nutrient content as possible. So we'll stir that through. I can put that lid back on if I want. Look at this sauce, absolutely incredible. I'm going to turn the sauce off now. You can see it's blipping away. Grate some Parmesan, just 30 grams. Parmesan has that amazing ability to kind of have that beautiful flavour, seasoning, but also join all the flavours up together. And then we're going to go in with our pasta and broccoli. Give it a nice little toss up like this. This is an absolute family classic. Whether it's for little kids, friends, I'm just going to finish it with a few strokes of Parmesan. A lovely array of all the food groups that your body needs. It's also incredibly delicious and fun to make, and that's the whole point of this book. So guys, enjoy the book, enjoy the dish. Until next time.